Please.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Boss Please. I'm Jillian. I'm here with Meghan and Malynda once again. And we're going to bring you a Bomb.com episode this week. We have an amazing guest, actress Daffany Clark. But just like every show, I want to know how you ladies have been a boss this week. So, Meghan, how are you a boss?
Okay, I hate to start off super depressing, but I'm just going to be real with you guys.
Okay.
I really didn't feel like a boss this week. Malynda, I know you've been stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jill, we're all just like
We're all
super
stressed.
stressed out this week. And I feel like I've been, we talked last week about not comparing ourselves to other people. And I feel like this entire week I've just been comparing about how other people, I'm seeing them get ahead, which is great. I'm super excited for them. But I feel like with that, I'm getting further behind. Started to kind of change up my thoughts about life and if I'm doing the right things. And guys, it's getting real. But I sort of thought about a different career path, and it just depressed me a little bit because I was like, all this time and effort I've put into hosting and entertainment, and now I'm thinking like, I might go a completely different direction. And it's just, I'm kind of at a point where I don't know what else to do. Like I've literally pitched things. I've worked hard. I've, blood, sweat, and tears. And it's like, it's kind of up to the universe. Like, universe, I did everything. So is this meant to be or is it not? Because I don't know.
Well, I will argue with you on the fact that you have been a boss this week because you just told all of our viewers about your struggles, and I think that's pretty boss.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Melinda,
it takes a lot of strength to try to figure out what direction you're going into.
So true.
That.
So
It's so true.
be proud of that.
Thanks guys. Thank you.
I have not felt like a boss this week either. But the one boss thing I will say that I did, so Twitter just completely messed up my profile and unfollowed hundreds of followers for me. But I literally single-handedly wrote every single one of them to tell them that I didn't unfollow them and that I apologized, and they felt so good. So for me, it's really important to stay connected with people because I am appreciative when people listen to my music and follow me on Twitter. So I wanted them to know that I didn't just want to get their fandom and then unfollow them. So that was my boss move this week. But everything else has been like, I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know what's going on with social media. Like Instagram, Twitter, there is something happening. They are shutting down things because I'm losing followers. And the fact that you literally, it just automatically unfollowed people that you unfollowed me and Jill.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I was
come on.
hey.
You're like, hello.
Hey now, girl.
It's like, all right. I thought we were just bosses together, but don't worry about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, actually, we can tie all this in because my my boss week has to do with social media. I love social media. I think that Twitter especially is a great way to connect with people. I host another podcast for AfterBuzz TV called The Fosters. It's a recap show for the Freeform series. And the fans are so amazing, but I have such a hard time keeping up with them. And we had our finale on Tuesday, and I just had to make sure that I reached out to each and every person that has made my past couple of months amazing, and just to tell them that their support means the world, because it honestly does. And it's kind of weird, guys, because Meghan and Malynda and myself, we really, it probably sounds so silly when you're not in an industry where followers matter, but to connect with fans is a really big deal, and to sort of keep that following and show them new and exciting things that are going on is really important. So I was listening to you guys talk about it, and I feel like some people might think like, oh, that's so silly. Like, they care about followers. They care about this, But really, it is everything. And when we, walk into an audition or go somewhere, especially in Los Angeles, it's like people will look you up right away.
Immediately.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you mentioned that because it does kind of sound vain sitting here talking about it. But, on every casting site, it's like, don't even come unless you have over 100,000 followers. Yeah. It's like, oh, well I'm far from that.
Me out, right? But I think also for me, it's about relationship. I want people to know that I'm appreciative of their following or their interest in my life, because I'm like, well, who am I? But you're interested. So, and I think it makes them feel good when you acknowledge them, because in the industry that we are in, and even the opportunities we get, whether they're big or small, to them, it's a big deal. Like when you're on PLL, I mean, you are the celebrities because they can't reach the Pretty Little Liars actresses. You guys were the celebrities for them. So it's a big deal when you reach out to them.
And on the flip, like, I love when people of notoriety reach back out to me on social media.
For sure.
Like, that's everything.
It's life-changing.
I'm like, yes, like Taraji P. Henson tweeted me a couple years ago, and I was just like, I'm dead.
Malynda also has a life-changing moment.
I almost died,
Malynda, you need to tell the world about this moment.
I almost died. So you will learn that my musical idol is Gavin DeGraw. He's my everything. It's kind of what I pattern myself around. But I did a cover of one of his songs called Meaning off of his Chariot album. You should go buy it. And I posted it on Twitter. And I remember I logged back into Twitter and I was like, oh, wow, this is getting a lot of traction. But it was because he tweeted it out and said, beautiful voice, well done. And I almost passed out. I could have died the next day.
I went on Twitter and I saw it. And
they could text me immediately.
I said, are you still alive? Like, this is your moment.
It was pretty crazy.
It was amazing. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So see that feeling? I'm sitting across from Malynda. She has a big smile on her face. There's happiness.
Yes.
Hang on to that feeling right now.
Yes, I need to.
Yeah,
because
you
then I
need
have to
to
go call customer service once we're done.
Uh-oh.
Wait, can I talk about my one Twitter moment?
Yeah, go for it.
Chris Rock tweeted me. I am not even kidding you guys. It was a couple Christmases ago. I was so sick. And in his comedic stand-up, Bigger and Blacker, he does this whole thing about Robitussin. And, you know.
Yes, I remember that like yesterday.
Whatever you got, Tussin better cure it because, you know. So I was sick and my mom gave me Robitussin. So I tweeted at Chris Rock and I said, oh, you know, having a moment and thinking about Chris Rock's Robitussin skit. And he tweeted me back and he said, I hope you feel better. And I said,
Oh,
well, I do now.
Oh my
Thank you,
God,
Chris
that's
Rock.
amazing.
Got my Tussin in there.
Your Tussin?
you guys are too much. I love this. So let's go into some real talk.
Let's do it.
Because we've talked about social media. Now we need to get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
There are moments where, and I know that everyone goes through this, where you just want to give up. And you don't know what the next step is. You don't know what to do. So my question to you, and I'll answer it as well, is what do you do when it feels like there's too much? When the walls are caving in and you need to sort of dig yourself out of the hole that you put yourself in?
Totally. Well, I think just from what we talked about earlier, I literally had like this, what you just said, this entire week. And there's been other moments in my life where I've had that, but literally this week in particular, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm almost 30 years old. I keep going back to this because I'm really, really having this midlife crisis, you guys, about turning 30.
It's real.
It's real. Yeah. And I'm like, I am nowhere near where I thought I was going to be at 30 years old. And have I been wasting my entire life? And did I take the wrong path? Should I have gone to college? Like, all these things are just coming into my mind. But when I have these feelings, I like to write. And so I wrote a blog post, whether I post it or not, who knows. But at the very end, I talk about no matter how many times I fall, I'm always looking up. Like when you fall, you're always still looking up. And no matter what, I always get back up. And that is self-love. And that is self-devotion. And that is you being like, that is a symbol of you not giving up on yourself. And that's kind of what got me through.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thanks, Bill.
You have all these like quotes that you can make
I'm
little.
just like, man, if it's not that, then
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For me, when I feel like I want to give up, well, honestly, I've put in too many hours at this point to give up, and I have no other skills that I've acquired, so I can't really stop doing this. But
you have so many skills,
honey. I cannot do anything else. You want to test me? We should do like a week test or something and see what I'm capable of doing.
But when you're up on stage, it feels right. This is what you should be doing.
That's what I should be doing. But also just my personality. Like, I'm not a sit behind a desk type job. Like, I would get so antsy and just like, I need to do something. I need to move. I need to always stay busy. But yeah, I want to give up often because I definitely have felt like I should be where I wanted to be by now. But I just think about not only letting myself down, but all the people that have come to me for advice, that look to me as an inspiration and message me randomly telling me, I love watching all you're doing and all your success and blah, 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 blah. And for me, I'm like, I don't feel like I've succeeded doing that much, but for them, they do. So I could never give up because I don't want them to be like, well, if she didn't even continue, why should I? If I'm the person that they look up to. So that's why I will never give up no matter how long it takes.
Yeah.
I love that.
That spoke to me. That's true. That is so true.
So I'm not a quitter at all, and I will see something through, even if I'm not good at it, not devoted to it, just because I enjoy keeping commitments. But one thing about me is that I am a constant dream editor. And I feel like it's a really useful tool because I used to have tunnel vision towards what I wanted. You know, this was the dream. This is where I see myself. You know, I could picture it. And you navigate a path, and sometimes you take an unexpected turn, and an opportunity could be amazing, it could be terrible. But I feel like if you're constantly editing yourself and constantly editing your dreams, then you're still working towards something. You're still working towards a goal. And it may not be what you thought initially, but you're figuring it out. And I think it's okay to figure it out. I think it's okay to edit. I think it's okay to press the backspace button and to rethink things, because sometimes it's not what you initially thought. My dream was to be initially like Barbara Walters or Oprah and have a sit-down show and talk about this, but the industry's changing. The world is changing. That's not what people are looking for. Right. Nobody wants to listen to a 30-year-old 5'2" Jewish girl talk about her problems. I'm sorry, but they don't.
I'd watch
there are bigger things in the world that are happening. So you have to alter the dream, and you can't give up, because it's okay to press edit. It really is. Right. And people need to know that. Yeah. You know, there's not like an ultimate end goal. I feel like you constantly better yourself.
Can I just PSA something? Not that you do this, but just so our listeners know. Just don't edit due to fear.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, because sometimes I think it's easy to do that. It's maybe I'll press that edit button because I don't know, I'm a little scared of that. Right. Do what scares you. But I agree with what you're saying, Jill.
100%.
This world is changing. Yeah. So what we once thought maybe would lead us in the right direction. Like, because I was thinking, I'm going to be the next Kelly Ripa. I mean, possible, but now with the world of digital, you know, most likely not. Because, sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. Megan's over here hitting
hitting my water bottle. But it's just like, oh, man, I lose my train of thought so easily.
But look, you created your own podcast. You're doing hosting, you know. You could be Kelly Ripa in a different way.
Exactly.
You're still doing.
Just pressing that edit button.
It's just all about the edit.
What's your most recent edit, Jill?
I think my most recent edit probably has to do with just rethinking what the end goal is in my career. You know, we're always talking about how we're getting older and how times are changing and how priorities change. And over the past couple of weeks, I've actually thought, you know, is this what I want to be doing when I'm raising a family? And is this what I can see myself doing in 10 years, in 20 years, retiring doing this? You know, so I've been thinking. That's how I've been editing. I haven't quite made the edit yet. I haven't pressed save. I'm still thinking about it. But it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, not at all.
Do you think it's always been like this, though? Or do you think it's because we are that millennial generation? Like, do you think our parents' generation had that tunnel vision? They were like, I'm going to be a teacher, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get there. But because we are seeing this world change so quickly, is it changing faster for us than it was for our parents? Is it okay that we don't have that end goal and that we are constantly editing? And like, that's what I think stresses me out.
I think the problem and a great thing is that there's so much opportunity and there are so many things that we can do that we can't really have tunnel vision, because we're like, well, I could do this, or I could do this. I feel like back in our parents' generation, like, they just had to pick something and do it. You know what I mean?
And they didn't even need to go to college. I mean, my parents didn't go to college for the careers that they chose.
It was a necessity.
And there was no internet. There was, you know, newspapers. There were the start of magazines. You know, the popularity of magazines didn't really come until a little bit later for our parents' generation. So yeah, I think that the options are the problem. I always say this, you know, the industry right now and deciding what you want to do is like going into like Yogurt Land and not knowing what you want and looking at the topping station and being like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
And the flavors.
Everything.
Totally.
Really everything.
Yeah.
Like, there are just so many choices, and they really didn't have to face that.
But my one thing is, sorry guys, I keep thinking I'm the butt girl today. I believe in the power of manifestation, and I stress myself out because if I can't see that clear picture in my head, then I'm not doing something right. And that's why I've been so freaked out, because you guys, I have a feeling of how I want to change the world, a feeling of what I love, but I don't have a clear picture of how my life is supposed to look. And that is what I'm like over here contemplating. I'm like, is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Will I get where I want to go because I don't see it? Like, help me, you guys.
Well, you know what? We have an amazing guest coming on our show a little bit later.
Yeah.
And maybe we can ask Daphne.
I love that.
What she thinks about that. I think that would be a great idea.
Because she
interesting
has
story
like
to tell.
defied all odds of being, you know, an actress, because the likelihood of someone coming out here, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. And she did it. And
She
she's
has a
successful.
really, really
so
great story.
She's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited.
So let's stay tuned for Daphne. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Welcome back, bosses. We're so excited about our next guest. You probably know her as her guest star role as Daphne on The Fosters. She was only supposed to be on the pilot, which I think is very interesting, but they loved her so much that she got called back for seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, girl.
She is currently working on her one-woman show called Pieces. It is coming out in spring of 2018, which I'm so excited for. And you might as well also have seen her on Rebel, which is on BET. So please welcome our guest, Miss Daffany Clark.
Hi guys.
Hey, Daph.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Okay. You are so lovely. This is my first time meeting you.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
she's
oh
the
my
best.
goodness,
I
I'm
know, talking about-
obsessed. Like, I want to hear everything. I want to hear all about your life, which we'll get to.
I don't know if we have enough time for that, but I'll give you bits and pieces.
Well,
So good
since,
to be here.
since Megan doesn't know you, how did you get your start?
Oh, well, I moved to LA in 2009 after going to Columbia College and doing the whole, degree theater thing that you cannot use once you get to LA, by the way. And then I worked really, really hard for about 4 years. I trained, I went to Breaking Through Acting Workshop, and I just really honed my craft. And then I landed the pilot of The Fosters, and I was girl number 1. And I was only really supposed to be on the pilot, but then a year later, they wrote me into the show.
That's amazing.
Which
Made
I
an
think is just a blessing. And my name is my name on the show, which is
really cool.
yeah, that's the best part. So
And the reason why they did is because she was amazing in the pilot.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was.
And yeah, she was basically like the intimidator, the abuser to the main character.
and people really thought that's how I was in real life.
Yeah. And they connected, and like we're sitting across the table from Daphne right now, and she is in a beautiful little pearl necklace, a floral
So cute.
dress. But if you watch the show, when you were first introduced to her character on The Fosters, she was in a prison uniform. She had the
Cornrows,
cornrows. She looks like a completely different person,
Yeah.
like no makeup, no
Yes.
glam, just like raw and real. And people really connected with that, and they sort of developed this like amazing story for your character.
Yes, which kind of chronicles my life, which is why I'm doing a one-woman show. So I play a 17-year-old juvenile delinquent on The Fosters with a 2-year-old daughter in foster care. And so my life, I was in foster care as well. So it's just so interesting how they just parallel, themselves. So I decided to do a one-woman show and play 10 different people, all who have anything to do with who I am. So it's kind of like the movie Sybil. If you ever seen the movie Sybil way back in the day, like 1976. Sally Field plays a woman who has 16 different personalities.
Wow.
So that's kind of how my show is going to be, which I'm really excited about. Just about my life and what I went through and how I got to where I am and why I'm an actress.
Amazing. So you wrote this, and now tell us the process of this. So are you in rehearsal doing this?
So I'm currently, I was supposed to do it last year, a year ago, but I was doing everything myself. And as we know, women, it's tough to do everything yourself. And I wasn't really concentrating on the content of the show. So I had to postpone it, which was great, which allowed me to develop more information because I recently, about a year ago, reunited with my biological father. So that was a component of the show as well. So I'm just putting all these pieces, that's why it's called Pieces, together so I can present it properly.
That's amazing. And it's almost like serendipitous that happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we were talking earlier in the show about how you sort of, there are tunnel vision dreams. And I was talking about how I personally self-edit sometimes. So you think that was a little self-edit? You needed to like take a step back and realize like...
Absolutely. Because I literally was doing everything myself and I was overwhelmed. And I was like, well, I can throw it together and I could just put it on. And people were like, Daphne, you are such an amazing actress. You have got to do this right. And I'm like, I know, but I just want to put it out. And so they're like, take your time with it. So now I'm writing it myself. I'm going to be producing it myself, but I'm going to be pacing myself as I do it. So
boss right there. That's why she's
definition of boss.
Yeah.
So it's going to be coming next year, which I'm really proud of. So
we're excited.
Yeah.
We'll all be there for sure.
right front row.
Yes,
center.
front row girl with the time. You know me. You know me.
Exactly.
So I was like talking earlier a little bit about the struggle of, you know, having a dream, but then you reach this point and you're like, is this my dream or do I completely change my life path? Have you ever had a moment where you were like, I don't know if I can keep going with acting, or like you just kind of wanted to give up, or that like one audition that you didn't get? Or Daphne's like, no, it's always worked out.
Because
Daphne's a rare breed.
Daphne's
Yeah,
like,
she is.
help me feel better about
listen,
myself.
I have had my moments, but never a moment of like I'm gonna quit or I'm gonna stop or I'm gonna move back to Chicago. Adversity motivates me. Struggle motivates me to do what I love to do, because this is why I was put on this earth. Not just to be an actress, but to use my platform to change lives.
Yes.
About my story, about my life, about what I went through. So I am just a living testimony of how you can make it through whatever you're going through, basically. So there was never a moment I was like, I'm going to just quit and give up. No, I'm going to fight through everything, because I've been fighting all my life. So it's just in me to continue to do that.
And what a perfect pilot and show to get on to help with your platform. That is so miraculous.
That was meant to be.
I asked the producers, I said, have you guys been in my life? Like,
So they didn't know. Did they know
had no
anything
idea.
about you?
They had
Oh
no
my gosh.
idea about my story.
But you had to kind of show that authenticity, I bet, through your audition.
I
You know what
did.
mean?
I did. They saw
You
the
had that
roughness. They
experience.
saw the rawness, and it was basically me just taking my life and putting it into the character and making her have something worth fighting for, worth losing in a sense. You know, she has a daughter she's fighting for, and my mother was trying to fight for me. So I get the struggle. I get the really wanting to have something that was taken away from you. So that's what I put into the character.
Totally.
When you were growing up in the foster system, did you have anybody that talked to you about pursuing your dreams? Like, where did your drive come from?
Well, I knew really early on what I wanted to do, but I didn't have anybody that I felt I could talk to about it. Because, you know, when you're, I say, the chosen one of your family, there's something special and unique about you that just makes you just go for what you really want to do in life, which is my dream. I was very, very active in like the arts and dance and all that. And my family knew that I wanted to do this, but they didn't really think that I would go for it. You know what I mean? Like they don't really believe it until they see it. You know, they didn't really believe it until I was on a show. Like, oh my God, she's really on a show. So I just kept the fight in me to say, okay, I'm going to prove everybody wrong, or I'm going to show them that this can be possible. And that's what I did.
That's literally, you can hear it in your voice. And I wish, you know, all of our viewers could like literally see Daphne right now. There's like this aura about you that is like, I have no doubt in my mind I'm going to get what I want. And I want that. Like, give me some vibes over here.
You know, I'm just like,
beautiful.
It is.
Listen, everybody can go after what they want to do in life and their dream. They can. No matter what you're going through, no matter your circumstance, you can really rise above it. And so for me, it's just like, there's no other choice. There's no plan B for me. I'm going to do this, dying, trying to do it, dying or whatever. But I'm going to make it by any means necessary. I'm not going to compromise my goals and, you know, my ethics and values, but or sell myself out, but I'm going to do it the right way, no matter how long it takes. I'm going to get there.
Because it's what you want.
Exactly.
Let's talk about those necessary means that you mentioned. So when you're not working, how are you making money? Like, how do you continue to sort of, you know, be able to like live and get by?
To survive in LA. I am a waitress. I'm a server, and I've been that for so long, and I'm so great at it. Should probably open my own restaurant and serve my own people. I have 2 or 3 jobs. I keep a hustle, as we call it. I know what my goal is, so I work in that. My movement is different when I'm working. It's I have to take care of this person, or I have to fund this, or I have to do this. My show is something that I'm so passionate about, so I have to get the means to make that happen.
Totally.
So I'm going to do whatever I can. You know what I mean?
Totally.
There's been some times where, I've thought about other things, but the Lord has said, girl,
I think we've all thought
sit
about
down
them
somewhere.
All been there. Yeah.
I've had the moment.
I think it's so refreshing to hear that, though, because there's so many people that think like, oh, I don't want to do this. I just want to be what I want to be. But it's nice to hear that even someone who people would view as successful, that you're on a national television show, you're like, I still got to pay my rent if I'm not filming, you know?
Absolutely. I meet fans all the time in my restaurants, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. You're like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I still need to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think you're on a show, they think you're Oprah Rich. And I'm like, I'm not there yet. Yeah. But I will be. Right. So I still gotta do what I have to do.
Good for you.
It's so funny. Not that I've had that much of a similar moment, but I was on Clever, and I was like an on-air host for entertainment, and I was paying for something at Sephora, but I was about ready to go next door and work at Victoria's Secret, where I also work. And the girl was ringing me up. She's like, I know you. You're on YouTube. And little does she know, I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm about to go next door and work right next to you.
Yeah, you want to go grab a coffee at the food court.
Right. And you know what? It keeps you very humble.
Yes.
Every time I run into somebody, it keeps me so humble, and that's what also motivates me to keep going. Like, you have to do with this. This is what you have to do, because people are counting on you. People are looking up. I've become a role model, and not by choice, but you kind of default into that. And now you have to move differently as well. Now you have to be a role model and teach people and show them that what you really want to do can happen. Your dream can come true. Yeah. You know what I mean? So many people are like, I can't do it. It's never going to happen. I don't know. And I'm just like, listen, this LA is only for the strong. Yeah. And if you're weak, you're not going to make it. You know what I mean? So you got to get here, get focused, and do what you have to do. Yeah. Plain and simple, because you can get lost. LA is a place where you can really get lost, get into the hype and the partying. I'm like, I'm here. I got 3 jobs. I'm on the show. I love it. I'm trying to get on another. I'm trying to climb the ladder. Right. I'm not trying to be here and just exist. I have a purpose.
I think a lot of people also wait for things to be handed to them.
Oh yeah.
They don't think they have to put in all of that work. So it's good to hear that you're hustling and working hard.
It is so
you're a boss
hard.
For real.
I feel 60 years old. Dude, let me tell you, I feel so old, but that is what also motivates me. There's so many things that push me, because sometimes I don't even get out the bed. Then I think about, what somebody, saw on Instagram, and they DM me about it, and they said, oh my God, this saved my life, or you really changed this. And I'm like, I got to get up for them today. You know what I'm saying? I got to get up for my family. Yeah, I got to get up, I got to get up, basically. Yeah. So,
did you ever think of yourself as a role model, like before all this stuff happened?
Never in a million years. I didn't think that what has happened was going to happen the way it did. And so for me, it's like, I'm so honored, and I feel sometimes so undeserving. You know what I mean? Because it's a responsibility that you have to take very seriously. And I don't take it for granted at all. I'm so blessed by everything that has happened to me. And that's what also keeps me going, because now I have a different platform. Now I have to use this to change lives.
God damn, I feel like this is really resonating with the room right now. Yeah. So I can only imagine what you guys are thinking out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, good stuff.
I've never been so quiet in my life. Like,
sorry. Just like listening. We're listening and taking in what you're saying.
I'm like taking it in, and it's amazing. And oh my gosh, so amazing.
Thank you. So
tell us more about this one-woman show.
Yes.
Ooh. So what is it taking out of you right now? Because I feel like it's a lot.
It is a lot, because it's a one-woman show. And I'm playing about, I want to say 8 different people, back to back. No intermission, straight through. It's taking a lot of creativity, a lot of my craft. It's taking a lot of that. But I love it, because what I'm going to be showing is who I am as an actress, but also my life and how I got there. In one show, and the different components of who I am and why I am who I am. People come into your life for a reason. God gives you your life for a reason. Sometimes you'd be like, why God, like, was I switched at the hospital? Did someone, like, am I the wrong like, really help me out here. But I believe that sometimes you don't understand why you carry the burden you do. But when you see somebody else make it, or somebody has learned from you, or you have influenced somebody, it makes it all worth it. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
So I know that you probably ask this often, but what advice do you have for specifically females that want to get into the industry?
This is a tough industry. It really is. Make sure this is what you want to do. It can't be a hobby. It can't be something that you just want to try to figure out. You have to know that you want to do this. Believe in yourself. Work really, really hard. And don't settle for anything.
Sound advice.
Boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop. That's
Such
it.
a boss. Such a boss.
Such a boss.
Such a boss.
Daphne, you're phenomenal.
Thank you.
So much.
Well, Daph, this was amazing.
Yes.
I'm so happy that we, 1, got to catch up. 2, we got to
Yes.
teach other people about your wonderful life and what you do
Thank
and your impact on the world.
And we hope that you were inspired by her story, because I was.
I was totally
I
inspired.
was.
Daphne, we'll put all this up, but where can people go to find you?
My website, daphneclark.com. The links to my social media, about the show, everything. You can find everything there.
Perfect. Love it.
Thank you, guys.
So that's our show.
I'm over here nudging Jill like, okay, you do the
Everyone's like,
outro.
yo, you guys do it. Yeah, so that's our show. And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Boss Please Pod. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. Navigate the path to your best self with us, because bossing together is always better.